My wife and stepdaughter ruined my daughter's college life with lies, so I threw them out and filed for divorce. Hello Reddit I plus here. I never thought my marriage of almost a decade would end like this. Burned to ashes, not because of the usual reasons you hear about, money, cheating, drifting apart, but because of jealousy, manipulation, and lies so vile they nearly ruined my daughter's entire life. Let me back up. My name's David, I'm 46, and I've been raising my daughter, Hannah, 20, pretty much on my own since she was little. Her mom left when Hannah was 4. It wasn't easy, but I built my life around making sure she never felt unloved or unsupported. Hannah grew into one of those kids every parent hopes for. Kind, ambitious, the type to volunteer at hospitals and study late nights without me even asking. 8 years ago, I met Rachel, a school teacher at a friend's barbecue. She was charming, practical, and had a daughter of her own, Megan, now 22. Megan was already a handful back then, moody, entitled. But I chalked it up to teenage growing pains. Rachel told me she was doing her best as a single mom, and I believed her. When we got married, I thought I was building a bigger, stronger family. I paid for Megan's braces, helped Rachel get out of debt, even bought Megan her first car when she turned 18. I thought love and stability would help her mature. Instead, it gave her room to sharpen her claws. Fast forward to last year, Hannah got into nursing school, a program she worked her tail off for. She was thriving, making new friends, even dating quietly on the side. Then, out of nowhere, whispers started floating around campus. That Hannah was sleeping with married men, that she had inappropriate relationships with older professors, that she used connections to get into her program. It sounded ridiculous, but in college, rumors spread like wildfire. Within weeks, Hannah's reputation was in tatters. Girls she studied with stopped talking to her. Some professors gave her side eyes. The worst moment? Someone spray-painted the word slut across her car in the campus lot. I later found out it wasn't random. Megan was behind it all. She had been strategically poisoning Hannah's reputation for months, sending fake emails to the dean, making burner accounts to anonymously report misconduct, twisting innocent situations into scandals. She even told people Hannah had a history with teachers back in high school. Pure fiction. And the dagger to my heart, Rachel knew. When one of Rachel's co-workers, whose daughter also went to the same college, brought up hearing gossip about Hannah, Rachel's response wasn't to defend her. She told Megan to be more discreet with her lies. Not stop, just hide it better. When Hannah finally broke down crying in our living room, begging me to tell her what she did wrong to deserve this, I saw red. I confronted Rachel, demanded answers. She shrugged and said, maybe it was good for Hannah, because being too perfect wasn't healthy. Too perfect. That's what she said about my daughter. The girl who spent summers volunteering at nursing homes. The girl who never touched alcohol, who helped Megan with homework, even when Megan mocked her. I lost it. I told Rachel and Megan to get out, and that night, I called my lawyer to start divorce papers. I thought kicking them out would bring relief. Instead, it lit a fire. Rachel packed up her things while I was at work. Didn't even leave a note, just a text saying she was staying with her sister Janet. Of course, she took Megan with her. The betrayal crushed Hannah the most. She watched Rachel drive away without even saying goodbye after 8 years of living under the same roof. That moment broke something in her, but it didn't stop there. Out of nowhere, Megan's biological dad, Frank, stormed into my office. This is the same man who skipped years of child support, forgot birthdays, and only popped up when it was convenient. Yet somehow Megan convinced him I'd been abusing her, emotionally, financially, even physically. She told him I cut off her college fund, which I never promised in the first place, that I was forcing her to lie about Hannah, and that Rachel was terrified of me. Frank, who hadn't cared in years, suddenly acted like father of the year, threatening me with lawsuits and screaming that I'd regret everything. Then he made the biggest joke of all, claiming he'd pay for Megan's college himself. This, from a man who once called me asking for gas money. Rachel bought into his act instantly. Janet even called me, saying Rachel realized she'd married the wrong man and should have known my true colors would show eventually. Meanwhile, Hannah discovered Megan's entire campaign against her wasn't just about spite. It was about a boy. The name was Ethan, not using your band names list, so let's call him Jack instead. Back in high school, Megan dated Jack for a few months. She became obsessed, skipping classes to follow him around, blowing up his phone, even showing up at his house at night. He eventually broke it off because she was suffocating him. Megan didn't take it well. She spread lies about him until his parents threatened a restraining order. Fast forward, Jack transfers to Hannah's college. They meet, connect, and start dating quietly. They kept it private because Hannah knew Megan's history with him, but Megan found out. And she snapped. Jack showed us the proof. Hundreds of texts, fake accounts, harassing emails. Megan stalked him online, told his friends he was cheating, sent Hannah photoshopped pictures of Jack and herself together. She swung between begging Jack to take her back and threatening to ruin his life. When he started dating Hannah, her obsession escalated into all-out war. That's when she launched the rumor campaign to destroy Hannah. Because if she couldn't have Jack, she'd make sure Hannah paid the price. Rachel's denial. When I presented Rachel with the evidence, screenshots, emails, everything, she refused to believe it. She claimed Jack must have faked the messages to cover up his real affair with Megan. Even when shown undeniable proof, she clung to her daughter's lies. And when I reminded her Megan spread those disgusting rumors about Hannah and a professor, Rachel sneered and said, well, maybe there was some truth to it. Why else would Hannah spend so much time at his house? That was the last straw. The woman I thought was my partner was defending cruelty, lies, and harassment against the girl she once tucked into bed. The divorce is moving forward. Rachel is trying to claim half of Hannah's college fund. But since I started it years before marrying her, my lawyer is confident she has no case. Still, the damage is done. Some of our mutual friends have cut me off, believing Rachel's story that I'm controlling and abusive. Hannah is in therapy now, trying to pick up the pieces of her shattered reputation. She's strong, but I see the toll it's taken. She second-guesses herself, cries when she thinks I can't hear. And me? I can't stop replaying the signs I ignored. Megan's smirks, Rachel's dismissive attitude, the way they whispered to each other while Hannah walked away. I thought I was building a family. Instead, I brought a wolf and her cub into my daughter's life. And now, all I can do is fight like hell to protect Hannah from the wreckage they've left behind. The first court hearing for the divorce was scheduled 3 weeks after Rachel left. I expected bitterness, maybe tears, but I wasn't prepared for the theatrics she put on. She showed up in a beige dress, hair tied neatly back, holding tissues like she was auditioning for a daytime soap. Beside her sat Megan, arms folded, glaring at me like I'd ruined her life. And there was Frank, too, wearing an ill-fitted suit, acting like he was a crusader for justice. Rachel's lawyer opened with a speech that painted me as an abusive, controlling husband who manipulated Hannah into turning against her loving stepmother and stepsister. She claimed I withheld money, isolated them emotionally, and threatened to destroy Megan's future if she didn't obey me. I almost laughed out loud. The same Megan who had been spreading vile rumors for months? The same Rachel who told her to be discreet about it? My lawyer, a bulldog named Mr. Alvarez, wasn't having it. He calmly laid out receipts, literal receipts, bank statements, bills I paid, tuition deposits. He showed the court how I'd been the one covering Rachel's debts, Megan's car, her medical bills, and yes, even the braces that Frank never contributed to. Then came the bombshell. Alvarez produced a binder. Hundreds of pages of texts, fake emails, burner accounts, all tied back to Megan. Proof of her harassment against Hannah and Jack. When he slid the binder across the table toward Rachel, her face drained of color. Megan tried to snatch it up and hide it, but the judge told her to sit down. Rachel stammered, "This doesn't prove anything. Anyone could have made those accounts." Alvarez didn't even flinch. "Except, Your Honor, we subpoenaed the IP addresses. They trace back to Rachel's home internet service. Every single one." The courtroom gasped. Rachel's hand shook as she dabbed her eyes with her tissue. Megan turned beet red, then snapped, "It's not my fault. Hannah stole Jack from me. She deserves what she got." The judge banged his gavel, warning her to keep quiet, but it was too late. The damage was done. The mask had slipped. Word of the court hearing spread fast in our community. Rachel had spent weeks telling friends and neighbors that I was a monster. But once Alvarez's binder of evidence came out, the whispers turned against her. Parents at Rachel's school started questioning if she was fit to be teaching kids. Mrs. Thompson, the co-worker who'd first asked Rachel about the rumors, was furious when she realized Rachel knew all along and encouraged Megan instead of stopping her. Rachel was placed on administrative leave pending an investigation. Megan's college launched their own inquiry after seeing the evidence. They suspended her from classes while reviewing whether she violated the school's harassment code. And Frank? Once the court ordered him to show financial records, it became clear he'd been dodging child support for years. He left the courtroom red-faced, muttering about how everyone was out to get him. Hannah is still scarred, but little by little, she's starting to heal. The dean called her into a private meeting after Jack and I presented all the evidence. He apologized personally on behalf of the school, admitting they should have verified before letting the rumors spread into official complaints. They promised to clear her name in the records and offered accommodations so she could catch up on the semester she nearly lost. For the first time in months, I saw her smile. Not a forced smile, but genuine relief. Jack has been a rock through all of this. He told Hannah he's not going anywhere, no matter how messy things get. I'll admit, part of me was skeptical of him at first. Young relationships are fragile, but watching how fiercely he stood by her when the storm hit, I gained respect for that boy. By the time the second court session rolled around, Rachel had changed her tune. She no longer cried in the courtroom. Now she was bitter, snapping at her lawyer, whispering furiously at Megan. When Alvarez asked why she encouraged Megan to spread lies about Hannah instead of stopping her, Rachel snapped, "Because Hannah isn't as innocent as everyone thinks. She walks around acting like she's perfect. It's not fair to Megan." The judge raised an eyebrow. "So you admit you condone the rumors?" Rachel froze. Her lawyer tried to object, but it was too late. The admission was on record. The court sided with me. Rachel got no claim to Hannah's college fund. The judge even hinted Megan's harassment case could result in civil penalties if we pursued damages. Walking out of that courthouse, I felt something I hadn't in months. Vindication. Not joy, because nothing about this was joyful, but the sense that, finally, the truth was louder than the lies. Rachel moved in permanently with Janet. Word is she's struggling financially without my support. Megan is under academic review, possibly facing expulsion. Frank has disappeared again. No surprise there. But Hannah? She's slowly finding her footing. Some old friends apologized for believing the lies. Professors who doubted her have offered mentorship opportunities. The spray paint incident still haunts her, but she says she's channeling the pain into her nursing studies. As for me, I've stopped beating myself up over the signs I missed. I can't change the past, but I can stand beside Hannah now, protect her, and make sure she knows she's not alone. Because at the end of the day, families aren't always the ones you're born into, or even the ones you marry into. Sometimes, family is the people who fight for you when everyone else is tearing you down. And in that sense, it's just me, Hannah, and Jack against the world. And honestly, that's enough.